If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to my audition. I hope not to lose the audience, but I promised Nestor I wouldn't. So here goes nothing. I shall do my best. The problem, let the door close first there, so it won't obstruct me. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, with the Baltimore Orioles at the moment is everything that can be a problem with the baseball team. Back when they were hitting solo homers, those lovely solo homers were the team's ticking time bomb because they couldn't just plain get hits. Then they went on a little bit of a successful spell. And now there's no pitching, no catching the ball, no matter who it gets hit to, and no hitting, either with men on base or the kind of hit that goes over the fence. Now, I don't know what Wilson Bename's problem is catching the ball. I don't know what Mark Reynolds' problem is making plays. And I don't know what I don't know what the $88 million man, Adam Jones, I don't know what his problem is hitting a cutoff man. I think that despite everybody's love affair with Adam Jones, this might be disagreed with by a few people, but the cutoff man is a second-class citizen in Adam Jones's mind, and there is no cutoff man who is more important than how far he can throw the baseball. And that's one of the defensive problems, and always has been a hole in his game. The other hole in his game is that the high-rising fastball has become what the slider used to be. He gets beat on it all the time, and that's one reason. The whole lineup can't seem to be doing it with men on base, but a lot of pitches in addition to the high-rising fastball are beating Adam Jones, have been for a while. He's in the vicinity of 300, but only has 41 RBIs with 19 home runs. Now that's, a person hitting 300 with 19 home runs, that's not doing too bad. I don't know, but if you saw a person with 41 RBIs and 19 home runs and didn't know who it was, would you think that was a satisfying amount of RBIs? I'm not blaming him alone. The whole team can't seem to hit with men on base, obviously. But he's the one with the focus on him to a little bit more of extent than most people because of this big contract he signed and the general public's love affair with him. As far as Mark Reynolds, he's one of the major problems. They can't seem to get rid of him, or else he had been traded by now. And the pitching is Hamill and Shen and a bunch of, and three players named Mattis, Hunter, and Arrieta. Arrieta's gotten back on track a bit. But I am going to the game tomorrow to see our reliever's ceremony. And Dana Eveland is making a spot start, so goodness only knows how that will go over. I don't know, that's about enough about the Orioles. You can only be so critical about that, and they're 7 games over, and if they tread water from now to the end of July until they get Markakis back, the question to ask yourself is, if they treaded water from now until the end of July and they were roughly 7 to 10 games over 500 at the end of July, would you be happy with that as opposed to the way they have been at the end of July for the last 14 years? I would take my chances going into the last 2 months of the season about 10 games over 500. So that's my take on the Orioles. My take on the Ravens is that I have 3 words for Mr. Ed Reed. Those 3 words are, mandatory is mandatory. No, excuse me, I have 4 words for Ed Reed. Mandatory is mandatory, pal. And the rest of the sentence is, you should have called the coach if you weren't going to show up. And to Bryant McKinney, you should have been in shape. You were there, to your credit, because it was mandatory, but in shape is in shape. Training camp is not only for getting in shape, this is for getting in shape. You should have, your year-round job is staying in shape, is it not? Okay, thank you. That is my annoyance with the Baltimore Ravens. They should still be pretty good this year, but Ed Reed, you got to do better than this. Mandatory is mandatory, buddy. As for the Terps, how much time do I have, Nestor?
Keep going. You have a minute.
Okay, thank you. I just want to put this word in about my Terps, not the football Terps, although they just put in a beautiful-looking new field, or they're about to. It's all green like a football field should look. The basketball team, I think that Mark Turgeon may have sent a message to last year's team by essentially recruiting a completely new basketball team. The seven incoming freshmen encompass all 5 positions on the floor, plus 1 or 2. I talked to him recently at an alumni gathering at Green Turtle in Columbia, and I don't know if I'm allowed to mention a sponsor without that being a sponsor, but he said no, he didn't recruit all those new guys to send a message to the team that you all didn't play well enough and you're all going to be on the bench next year. He recruited them because he always tries to recruit the best players. He said Terrell Stoglin begged him, and I quote Coach Sturgeon. He said Terrell Stoglin even begged him to stay on the team, but he said no, we have to suspend you. It might have been a university regulation out of Coach Turgeon's hands, and he couldn't take Stoglin back no matter what. And from what I understand, Stoglin did not get drafted last night in the NBA draft, so he might go to Europe for a year until the NBA deems him ready to take in. But I'm very pleased with those Terps and how they should be expected to do next year with the new talent they're bringing in. And,
Appreciate your audition.
and that
You want
is my
some applause?
audition.
I get you some applause. There you go. Steve Katz.
And thank you very much, whoever was listening, and Nestor, for considering my audition.
Well,
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.